Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, a few housekeeping notes. All the product I use and all the dimensions will be listed below. There's a link to my online store if you wish to purchase any of these products. There's also my email address if you have any questions. There is a link to our Facebook group. I had to think for a second. And we'd love to have you join that. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. As I said on Monday, I was going to keep on playing with Inked and Tiled because I came up with several ideas. And so we're going to be using Inked and Tiled, and we're going to be using some nice bright colors. We're using Berry Burst, Lemon Lime Twist, and Azure Afternoon. And I'm going to move all of these out of the way and show you what we are making. There's our envelope, and this is what we're making. Now you're looking at this going, this does not look easy. It's very easy. And this is the inside of the card. And I don't know, see if I can get this close enough so you can see the texture in that. So let me show you how I made this card. So the first thing we're going to start with is a piece. Well, I'll give the pieces. I've been asked to do this, so I will. Of course, we need an envelope. We have a piece of black that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let's go ahead and burnish that right now. We have a piece of black that is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. We have a piece of white. White, basic white, that is 5 1/4 by 4, and another piece that is 5 by 3 3/4. And that is all the supplies. So what we need first is we need to do our stamping. And we're going to start with the inside first, and then we will come to the envelope, and then we will come to the next piece. So on the inside, we are going to be using this flower and these stripes and our saying, which is happy birthday, and the flower on here. So this is Berry Burst. This is, you might call, very abstract card. I'm going to put a Berry Burst down here and one up in this corner. I'm going to use this on my envelope as well. And close this one up. Then we are going to use, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper now. Look at that. Because this is going to go over the side, and I don't want ink on my desk. And you can decide which direction you want to go on this. I'm going to put some swishes there, and I'm going to turn this over. And some swishes there. I thought it was just sort of fun. It's abstract, but I liked it. And then we're going to use the Lemon Lime Twist. And we'll turn our happy birthday the right direction. I'll just move this out of our way for a minute. And I'm going to tuck this right up here. Get my head out of the camera for our happy birthday. So the next things we need to stamp is the outside of our card. And this is the 5 by 3 3/4. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to close this up, and we're going to stamp our large flower first. Now, I want to do him multiple colors, so I grabbed my pins. And I did this on Monday's video as well with different colors. So I've grabbed Berry Burst, Azure Afternoon, and Lemon Lime Twist. Same as my ink pads, but I'm just making life a little easier, putting on my color. And I'm just going to flick some color. So this is the Azure Afternoon on the big flower. And this is the Berry Burst. I wanted bright colors on this. And then the Lemon Lime Twist. Just like that. And I'm going to run this right up to the center of this paper. So I'm actually going to turn this a little bit. It's more huffing than I probably need, but like I got a ceiling fan ahead over me. And I want it nice and moist. You could also spritz it, but that gave it too much of a water look, more than I wanted. So you can see me huffing and puffing a little bit. There we go. Quite beautiful. Then we are going to go back to our pad of Lemon Lime Twist, and we're going to grab this nice big leaf. And grab my scratch paper again. And I'm going to come right in here and put some leaves. And over on this side, I'm going to come up a little bit higher. You could add as many leaves and stuff as you wanted into this picture. You could use different stamp set. It doesn't have to be this one. It's just the one I chose to use this design with. So, once you get this stamped, the next thing you need to do is you need to emboss this. So, my embossing folders that I decided to use for this project is the basic 3D embossing folders. They're on the online exclusive, and this is the check one I did. There's also polka dots and looks like some little flowers. Quite different. And I think we're going to try the flower one this time. Just a little difference. Just something a little different. You always don't have to do it the same every time. So, this is on Monday's video, I said I had a surprise. If anybody's been around with me for a while, you know that I have named my little mini machine Little Cranky. He's loved. Just because he has the name Little Cranky, it doesn't mean he's not loved. He is loved. But he has a new friend. I went and got the big one finally. I decided it was time. My Big Shot is getting so wore that it's just not working right. So I went and got the big brother. So I had to think, I've been thinking about a name for him. I figured I'd let you guys help me out. I was thinking about calling him the Grumpy Old Man. And then I thought about calling him Otto. And now if anybody's seen the movie Call Me Otto, I think is what it's called, with Tom Hanks. He starts off really grumpy and turns out really nice. So everybody tell me if you want to just say Grumpy Old Man, or do you want him to be named Otto? So, let me know. This is the new guy. So, and he's a lot lighter. So, and I'm learning the new plate configurations. So, I just got him. I've cut one die cut and did a couple embossing. It came last week. Yeah, if you can see, I've done one die cut. So, we use plate 1 and plate 4 for 3D embossing folder. So here's plate 4. And I'm going to go ahead and line up this folder. There's a line here. And if you line this up on this line right here, it will keep everything pretty straight. And it doesn't matter if it's totally straight, but I want it semi-straight. And then we'll run this through. Say it's much easier on the arm too. And much easier to put away. Get rid of my plates here real quick. me see what this looks like, because I haven't ran this embossing folder before. So, oh, I think I almost like it better than the first one. Very pretty. Okay, so next we need our trimmer. Now, when you're trimming something that's been embossed, just remember to be gentle. You do not have to press on your cutting blade to cut a single sheet of cardstock. Gentle. Now, these measurements, I'm going to give you these measurements, but you can make them any size you want. You have to remember you have 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines. And that's how I get to get the spacing on the front of the card. So you can't do 3 and 4 on one, because it would just, they would all be not the same size. You get what I mean? The spacing in between not be the same size. So if you want to do 3 and 3, you can, but you would need to adjust the size of the paper by 1/8 of an inch. So it's a little bit of math there, but I'm going to give you all the dimensions. So on the 3 3/4 side, you're going to score, or cut, score. You're going to cut at 1 1/4. And just gently, don't push hard. You don't have to. And then you're going to come over here and you're going to cut it again at 1 1/4. So it's 1 1/4 and 1 1/4 across the top. Now, you want to take and lay these all back out exactly how you had them, okay? You can see them there. So I'm going to grab a sip of tea here real fast. And so you grab the first piece. When you're cutting, this is your top, and your top is always going this way. So the first one we are going to cut, and as we build these, I'm going to set them over on this side. So the first one we're going to cut at 1 1/4. And they'll be on the instructions, it'll say side 5, panel 1, panel 2, panel 3. So this is panel 1. Then we're going to move down and we're going to cut at 2 1/4. So here's panel 1. Make sure I've got these going the right direction. Yep, I do. You see just a touch of red right there. And panel 3. Just like that. Okay, on panel 2, you're going to cut at 1 1/2. So set this one here. And you're going to cut at 2 1/4. Like that. This is panel 3. Panel 3 is going to get cut at 1 3/4. And 1 3/4 again. So there's this one, and this one, and this one. Nothing like chopping up your work, right? Okay. Now, I have a black grid here. This is not going to be very good for you to see, and it's actually really hard for me to put this together on a black grid. So we're going to grab the scratch paper that has a grid on it. I would highly recommend using a grid paper of some kind. Now we're going to grab our black sheet that is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And we are going to start building this. Now you could do this on dimensionals. I chose not to. We're going to start in this corner here, upper hand left corner. I'm using glue because I want the wiggle room. And you need to sort of visualize what your margins are going to look like. Then you're going to come over and grab the right hand top corner. And put it in. This is the easiest way to get everything lined up I have found. Then we'll grab our centerpiece. You want to make sure when you're doing this that you're looking across to the other side to make sure you're fairly straight. And make sure you don't turn your paper the wrong direction. Tiling a piece is not hard. It's just you have to sort of watch what you're doing. Now I know that we have the punches that came with this set. I actually did borrow them. I don't have them. I did borrow them from my upline. They're okay. Not my favorite thing. So they're sitting in the tub over here. I decided not to use them for this project. But they're nice. But I like this look much better. Plus you couldn't get the details all in there because there was some, you know, with the punch you can't get straight lines and get them all lined up right. So far so good. Then we're going to grab the other side. I'm just working the same pattern across, doing the two sides, then the center, and leaving a nice border. And then but you, like I said, you can do this with any stamps you have. I think it just makes a really pretty card. A little time consuming. Oh, let's go back over here. So far, so good. Now you're going to look at this. Oh, I want the other piece first. Biggest thing is to, when you cut it, just always keep it back in the shape that it's supposed to be, in the right order. A little squishy there. That should be okay. And the last piece. Now, this one you're going to notice it's different. This one here is a 1/4 inch higher than this one. I lowered this one a little bit because this is where I want my ribbon, and it was just too close to the ribbon here. So I did change that measurement, and I like it better. But you can change the measurements. Like I said, you could do, you know, you could do this 1 inch and then 1 inch from this side and leave this bigger panel. You can do any dimension as long as you have 2 cuts here and 2 cuts going this way. Okay, so there's that piece. Next, we're going to go ahead and put on our ribbon and put the inside of our card in. We're going to put the inside in first, then we'll come back to the ribbon. So here's our card base, and here's the inside of our card. There's that piece. Now we need some ribbon. I'm using the Gingham check ribbon. Oh, I should tell you, I have placed my Christmas order out of the new catalog. Did it on the day on the 2nd. And so as soon as the order gets here, I'll let you know, and we will start playing with this. But in there is a ribbon. This is the white and black gingham, and this is a 1/4 inch ribbon. There is 3/8 inch ribbon, I believe it is, and it is black and very vanilla, which I love. So we'll have another one to use. So just thought I'd mention that. So we'll put this across here. You can see how this looks a little bit better than the other. And we're going to do the same thing I did on the previous card. I just find this the cheapest and easiest way to do this. You could use glue dots or anything you wanted. biggest thing is just make sure you are straight. You could use glue dots on the front if you need to hold it. And where's my snips? Just like that. We'll come back to that ribbon in a minute. Now, we are going to pop this whole thing up on this card. You could put it flat, and I did the first one flat, but I decided to do this one up on some dimensionals, and I've got some side pieces here we're going to use up. Don't waste your sides. These work great for putting small tags on too. But okay, need a couple for the middle now. Grab some more. So yeah, I can't wait to, I don't have a catalog yet. Hopefully I'll have one very soon. I can show you the front, I can't show you anything else, but we'll start playing with stuff as soon as I get my order. There's some really cool stuff in there. And you will be able to start ordering on September, I think it's the 6th. And if you don't have a demonstrator and you'd like a catalog, send me an email and we will talk and arrange something so you can get one. So make sure everybody's going the right direction. Get this, I'm gonna bring this grid paper back in because it's easier to see. Get this lined up on here. So I have a grid on both sides. So with all this adhesive, I'm only going to get one shot at this. And you've got just the tiniest little border. About 1/8 of an inch. Like I said, it's very tiny. But this one I popped up. And I think I like it popped up better than the first one I made, which was flat. But you could do flat too, whichever you wanted. Make sure your dimensional is not hanging out the back side of that. There we go. Okay, so let's finish this card. So, a bow. I usually tie a bow lots of times before I even come on the air, but today I did not. So hopefully the bow will just behave itself and work nicely. And I don't want a real big bow, just a nice little bow. I think he might work. A little big on the one side. I know it always has to fiddle with your bows. There, he looks pretty good. Yep, I can live with him. Now you could have actually tied it around and tied the bow, but I opted not to do that on this one. And the reason I usually go to my glue dots, and I have got one of the stickiest rolls of glue dots in the world. And it's just, if I put paper on here, it actually tears the paper instead of lifting the glue dot. They're so sticky. And I don't know if it's, you know, the weather, what it might be. So we'll trim that up a little bit. So next, it needs some more. It needs some bling. So I went for some glossy dots. Now I know these are not berry burst, but they work really, these work really well. So let's put about 3 of these on. Put one in this panel and use one of each size. I'm just going up this way with those. And then I decided we needed some flowers. I know it's a little over the top, but I liked it. We needed butterflies to go with my flowers. So we'll put a little butterfly here. And a tiny butterfly. We're going to put him right in the middle. He can't decide where he's going. And then I looked at it some more and said, it doesn't have enough bling. Wink of Stella time. Now, Wink of Stella will bleed your ink. So, don't push extra. Make sure you've got some on there, but don't push extra while you're doing this. And just gently go in on your color. Let me see if I can zoom this in. So you can see it's bleeding the color a little bit. So you just want to go very lightly. I'm not squeezing, I'm just brushing a little bit of Wink of Stella on that. And it's changing the color a little bit, but not much. See the difference? I've got a piece of paper off to the side. So I don't want to transfer pink into the blue. You can see how the Wink of Stella is moving that color just a little bit. So just be careful, and you can do it without distorting the flower, but you can add some bling. See if I can hold that up so you can actually see the Wink of Stella. There you can. And you can see that beautiful design in the paper too. So, get this back out of here before we cause us all to be seasick. So that is my panel tiled card. I think it's rather sweet. And this is the first one. Like I said, a little different. Moved one of the panels because I liked it better. I raised this one up and used a different embossing folder. So you don't have, if you don't have these embossing folders, use a different embossing folder. If you have one of your favorites, you know, you could use it. Even time-worn type would look beautiful in this too. Just something to give it that texture. So, with that being said, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you on Friday. Thank you, and goodbye. Oh, and don't forget to let me know if it's going to be Grumpy Old Man or if it's going to be Otto. He needs a name. So, as soon as I get some responses back, I'll let you know what it's going to be. Thank you. Goodbye.